Are the larger companies, established companies like Apple, Google, Microsoft, are they making headway in these areas too? Or is it more OpenAI and then startups like Liquid AI and others?
I think that all of these companies, in some sense, are working with similar people and doing similar things, down to the point where they're poaching people from each other when they feel that there are important things to be learned. So there is a limit to which the industry is able to keep secrets from each other, and it's also all the large companies recognize the importance of making progress on this. And so while most of the top-level frontier research does not necessarily get published anymore, many of the core ideas are out in the open.
It's not published because it's done behind closed doors at these big companies?
Yes, because it is has too much economic impact.
Very
and
interesting.
There is very little upside for the companies, for the industry research labs to publish their breakthroughs in secret source. And so academia, of course, is still very much focused on publishing. But because you get more impact in the industry, you have more resources in the industry, and people also have more interesting career paths in the industry. Arguably, many of the best people are drawn from academic research into industry labs. And so most of the really interesting research is also now happening in these industry labs under the incentives of industry labs. Most of the labs are still publishing things and trying to give back to the community, but they will not necessarily publish the advances of this year. They might work more on systematizing ideas. But it's really not a homogeneous thing. And for instance, when OpenAI started out, they put a large effort on producing a series of generally accessible publications that helped people to understand how neural networks work. And also many individuals from the AI companies are going out in public and building tutorials that allow people to get started. And so if you are not trying to tune an extremely large model on a large server farm and compete with OpenAI, and instead you just want to know how this stuff works, and you want to get started yourself, possibly get to the level where you can build your own machine learning startup, all this information is more available and accessible than ever, which is happening also in large part due to idealistic individuals in the industry who are sitting down, making YouTube tutorials, writing books, writing tools that are generally accessible, open source initiatives, and so on. And of course, many people don't want to work for the large labs or don't get jobs in the large labs despite being super capable. And instead, they work in these open source initiatives. And it has been very helpful that we have these open source model initiatives. For instance, Facebook has been publishing frontier models that are arguably at the level of capability of the leading models of OpenAI. It's the public-facing ones, and that allow individual researchers or small groups of researchers in academia or outside of academia to get together and use those models and improve them and play with them and come to new insights on how they work. And there's already a lot of research that happened, for instance, due to Stability AI releasing the stable diffusion weights. And there has been some debate that it's not true open source research because people don't release their data and not all of their algorithms, but just the weights. So open weights is maybe not the same thing as open source, but it is still tremendously useful.